I rarely say things like this, and at least for the next 5 years, nothing major is going to change because of huge TV deals. But between you and me, WWE may be in a little bit of trouble. Aside from ratings hitting an all-time low, interest in the product is down. And if you can believe it, on a recent episode of Ups and Downs, I gave more downs than ups. What the hell is the world coming to? In short, WWE needs to do something ASAP, and in this case, the trigger to such success may come from the most unlikeliest of sources. And that's because AEW is actually good for Vince McMahon's wandering circus. Why? Here's why. Now that sounds mad, right? How could new competition, especially one that's coming on with loads of cash and maybe even potentially a huge TV deal, be good for WWE? And the answer, my friends, is simple. It comes in 3 simple letters, and that is WCW. And a quick shout out to everybody that always gets mad when I say it like that. It just fuels me. It's like the sun and Superman. Here's the deal though. If you cast your mind back to the mid-90s, there ain't no two ways about it. WWE, or WWF as it was known then, was struggling. We were in the midst of the new generation era and everybody had an occupational gimmick, and it looked from many different angles like the company may actually go out of business. But then World Championship Wrestling became the hottest thing in the world. If you touched it, your finger would have set on fire. Hulk Hogan dropping the leg on the Macho Man Randy Savage to form the NWO at the 1996 Bash of the Beach all of a sudden made wrestling really cool, and that posed 2 problems for WWE. 1, they still sucked, and 2, it also proved that the wrestling audience was out there. They just wanted to see something that was worth their time. And I don't know why Repo Man wasn't worth anybody's time, but hey ho, you can't argue with the facts. But go look up the metrics for around about 95, 94 in WWE. They are absolutely terrible. Led forward by the man known as Eric Bischoff's success not only made wrestling more mainstream, but it also put Vince McMahon's back against the wall. And do you know what Vince McMahon does when his back's against a wall? He absolutely thrives. Realizing it was either put up or shut up, the pair benefited each other every single week as they kept trying to outdo each other when it came to creative. Nothing was off the table. And while sometimes that meant we had to see Mae Young giving birth to a hand, it speaks to the mindset at the time. You could do anything you wanted. And yes, I know, true, sometimes WWF and WCW should not have done whatever they wanted, but I would say that attitude is a damn sight better than what we've got now, when everything is really dull and everyone's got long hair and a beard. And there was more too. Given that both were ramping the other one up, stars were being created all over the place. And that meant when the likes of The Big Show and Chris Jericho jumped across to WWE, they didn't have to send them down to NXT to refine their craft or learn how to do their style. They were ready made to go. And also, you wanted to put them on Raw and SmackDown straight away, because if you didn't, you weren't buying into the momentum they had. They just turned their back on your competition. You wanted to fly the flag and say, ha ha ha, look what we did, you stupid idiots. Here in 2019, WWE can't do that, because the only way to get that kind of exposure is to be on Raw, or it is to be on SmackDown. And yes, there are plenty of under-the-radar gems that you and I, the wrestling nerds, know about, but quite simply, that's not enough. To buck this downward trend, a wider audience has to know who the best of the best is, and you do that by bigging them up. When that does happen, WWE can reach out and try and bring them in, and that works the other way too. If Kevin Owens is being courted by both the WWE and AEW, he can ask for more money, he can ask for less dates, and look at that. All around, everybody can have a smile on their face. Either of those two companies has a big star, and the wrestler themselves has a nice healthy pay packet. We also then recreate this wonderful idea of a superstar, and that simply doesn't exist at the moment. And that's because when it comes to WWE, they focus on just that. They only focus on those 3 letters, that's 2, on those 3 letters, WWE. Ever since they decided, it's the brand that's important, and we don't have to worry about individual wrestlers just in case they leave us like Batista did, like The Rock did, or Brock Lesnar did, it's really hard to want to go to a show, because you always know that WWE is going to come through your town. and you don't really care about who's on the show. If AEW can get their foot in the door and start doing things differently, you can't just rely on your brand anymore. You're going to have to give fans a reason to tune in, not just because it's WWE, but because you've got the best damn product in the world. And that doesn't mean that AEW can all of a sudden compete with them on a financial level, but think of it like this. A recent episode of Raw did almost less than 2 million viewers, did around about 2.1. So maybe by the time you're watching this, they've already dipped below that figure. Back in 2010, an episode of TNA did 2.2 million viewers. So don't tell me that can't happen even 9 years later. If AEW were even able to outdraw one episode of Raw, all of a sudden the competition is on, and all of a sudden you've got a different ball game, and you absolutely can't rest on your laurels. Then both shows are going to have to be even better than they would be otherwise, and that means we get good wrestling content. And don't forget, as fans, that's all we want. Look at this weird pose. I'm like a penguin. But that's all we want. You don't have to care about finances or ratings or whatever. You just want to be able to go click. Oh, look, I, the penguin, am being entertained. It's also this logic as to why I'm confused that WWE won't let unhappy performers out the door. If you're not going to do anything with them and they think they can be stars elsewhere, then let them go and be stars, and when they become stars, you can call them up or send them an email and bring them back in, and lo and behold, you've got yourself a brand new star, and it didn't cost you anything. You can benefit from that in the future, and sometimes I don't think WWE is looking that far down the road. So don't throw cash at wrestlers just so they have to stay within the compound you've created. Bet on yourself. Know that you can do really well, and yet if they do go out there and smash it, they'll at one point be open for negotiations, and maybe you can get them back again. That's like Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre basically did that. Also, why offer the Revival $1 million if all you're going to do is have them shave each other's backs? That's no good for me, because I don't want to see those two shave each other's backs. That's no good for you, because you're not using them to their best of their potential, and it's not going to turn anybody's fortunes around. Raw and SmackDown were awful this week because they were just there, and that is worse than me hating it. At least when I hate something, there's raw emotion there. This was just nothing. It was like breathing. It was just going on. If nothing else, this line of thinking is just wasting money and stopping performers like Dash and Dawson from growing, and growth in the wrestling business is what we need more than anything right now. Social media numbers and YouTube numbers, that's not enough. We need proper, organic, eyes on the TV growth. And sure, it's a risk, but look at it this way. You've got evidence that it has worked when you look into the past and when you look at WCW. You wouldn't have had Chris Jericho without World Championship Wrestling. You wouldn't have The Big Show without World Championship Wrestling. You would have had Rey Mysterio or Eddie Guerrero or a bunch of dudes. Maybe we should start tapping back into that again and allow AEW to grow up before obviously we try and smite it down. Ultimately, this irrational fear that WWE has of AEW is actually hurting them more than if they start looking at it the other way. The bigger they can get at this stage, especially when they can't hurt McMahon financially, the better it's going to be for the entire wrestling business. And I truly believe that too. This isn't me just going, oh, I want to talk about AEW because it's cool. I think there's something there. I think it's something that everybody, and I mean everybody, should embrace. If Vince does work best when his back is against the wall, and we've said that already, put your back against the damn wall, Vince, shave it, and come out of there, guns are blazing, and remind us why you're one of the best damn wrestling promoters, if not the best wrestling promoter we've ever seen with our eyes. It will help with WWE ratings, and that will please the fans, it will please USA Network, it will please Fox, and it will bring that healthy mainstream glow back to this damn thing that we all love. Also, nothing else is working at the moment, so doing something completely out left field doesn't seem like that much of a risk. Otherwise, those numbers are just going to keep going down and down and down, and then we're going to go on Twitter and go, oh, it's terrible, and one guy will be like, no, it's fine, because TV down across the board. Like, that's some kind of excuse. Not really. That's like someone's dying. You're like, oh no, they're dying, and someone goes, well, they're dying too. So you both just walk off, and you get a cup of coffee, because who cares? Well, I care. I want wrestling to thrive, and maybe, just maybe, we need a new fight. There's only one dog in this fight, it's called WWE, and the only one that has a chance is AEW, so damn it, let's scrap. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about WWE versus AEW, and try not to say, stop kissing AEW's arse, it's boring. Come on, man, you should want this, I've just explained it. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com Read yourself some articles. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture WWE and watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. AEW, yeah, fanboy. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you for watching the Why series, the series where I say why and I slap my head. Yep, I never saw it coming too, but it's a real thing, so you better accept it, because if you're not accepting it, then you're just walking through life with negativity. And I will see your ass soon. Hopefully not literally, that would be weird. Just your face. I'll see your face soon. Put your trousers back up. We didn't need it. Bah.